Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ratu Nadira Moerdani. I'm from the class 12 IPS 4 in 74 Senior High School. Today, I'm gonna tell you a story about Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. She got this name because her grandmother gave her Little Red Hood and she wore it every day. Her grandmother loved her very much. One day, her mother said, "Little Red Riding Hood, can you please bring this basket full of food to your grandmother's house? But remember to be very careful and don't leave the path." "Don't worry, Mom. I'll be very careful," said Little Red Riding Hood to her mother, and she went right off to her grandmother's house. Her grandmother lived on the other side of the woods. As Little Red Riding Hood entered the wood, a wolf met her. She had never seen wolves before, so she doesn't know they were dangerous. "Good day, Little Red Riding Hood. My name is Wolf. Nice to meet you." "Hi, Wolf. Nice to meet you too. Where are you going, Little Red Riding Hood?" "To my grandmother's house." "Where does she live?" "She lives in the village on the other side of the wood over there. It's the first house in the village," replied Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf walked next to Little Red Riding Hood and then said, "Look at those pretty flowers. Why don't you pick some for your grandmother?" Little Red Riding Hood looked and saw all the pretty flowers. She ran off the path and started picking a bunch of flowers for her grandmother. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight through grandmother's house and knocked on the door. Knock, knock. "Who's there?" "Little Red Riding Hood. I'm bringing some food for you. Please open the door," replied the wolf. Grandmother opened the door. The wolf quickly jumped in and pushed grandmother into the closet. "Help! Please let me out!" cried grandmother. "Be quiet and stay in the closet." The wolf put on grandmother's dress, cap, and glasses and got into grandmother's bed. After Little Red Riding Hood picked a bunch of flowers, she finally arrived at her grandmother's house. She saw the open door and called out, "Good morning!" There was no answer. She slowly went into the bedroom and saw her grandmother lying in bed, looking very strange. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you, my child," was the reply. "But, grandmother, what big eyes you have!" she said. "All the better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "But, grandmother, what large hands you have!" "All the better to hug you with." "Oh, but, grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have!" "All the better to eat you with." The wolf jumped out of the bed and wanted to eat Little Red Riding Hood. She shouted loudly and tried to run away. Just then, a hunter was passing the house. He heard Little Red Riding Hood's cry and went into the house. "Go away, wolf!" said the hunter. He pulled out his bow and shot the wolf. The wolf ran away, and Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother lived happily ever after. So that's all I can tell about Little Red Riding Hood. I'm sorry if there is any mistake in the story. So yeah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.